I imagine they'll hang me for this. At least I hope it's hanging. I don't want beheading or any of that drawing and quartering nonsense. That's messy, that is. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't pretend to be up to date on the current sentencing guidelines, but I reckon being strung up is most likely for stealing the king's gold. I say stealing. I haven't actually taken anything. I was surrounded by gold, but technically I haven't stolen any. I would. I was going to. That was the plan. But now I'm down here in the King's Gold Vault, I realise that my plan wasn't as well thought through as it might have been. I was happy with my routine, ingenious though I say it myself. I crawled up the flood drain from the river, and I had to brush the rats off, but I got in here as good as gold, if you'll excuse the pun. I was in, and surrounded by coins and ingots, and just for a moment I could see my life taking a turn for the better. But it was only just for a moment, because then I realised I hadn't factored in the Thames being a tidal river, and the flood drain filling up behind me. I got myself trapped. Oh, and another thing I hadn't thought about was how heavy gold is. I hadn't really got myself a plan to take the gold with me, even if I could get out. That drain is very narrow, you know. I don't think the tide is going to turn before the early shift come on in the morning, find me here, and take me off to the local judge. It's a shame. I'd love to have cleared all the gold out of this vault, but I reckon even a single bar would have done for me. Rental prices have rocketed in London, ain't they? Who can afford 2 and 4 pence a year? Not with wine at threepence a gallon, and when you can only get 5 loaves for a penny. Extortionate. I just realised there's something else I didn't think through. You can't really go into the local tavern, order a tankard, hand over a gold bar stamped with the King's crest and not attract attention. Anyway, I'm not sure they carry that kind of change. Well, people think I'm no master criminal, and they'd be right. In the end, I suppose I'm not cut out for the thieving. I stole a lamb once, thinking that'd keep me and the wife and kids well fed for weeks. Trouble was, I got attached to the little fella and couldn't, well, you know. It's still at home now. It's 6 years old. We haven't even tried to get any wool from it because we're afraid it might get cold. And then there was the time I stole 14 horseshoes. You think that would have brought me luck, but the blacksmith community have an early warning system for being offered stolen goods, and I had nowhere to sell 'em. I thought about melting 'em down and making something like a sword or a shield or something, but the wife won't allow bellows in the house. She says they remind her of bagpipes. She's from Cumbria and spent her formative years worrying about the Scots invading. Funny what triggers some people, innit? Ah, anyway, I'm a useless thief, and now I've managed to get myself surrounded by gold with no way of taking any of it away. Like I say, they'll probably hang me, which I would say will be harsh. To my mind, the criminal justice system in this country is, well, criminal. There's a distinct lack of fairness when you look at it. Take witches. There was one at the ducking pond the other day, and they almost drowned her. But she didn't drown, and she just got banished to the forest. And that was after chucking curses around, casting spells, and turning people into small rodents and such like. I mean, which is worse? A witch doing all that, or me attempting theft? Because this has been no more than an attempt at theft of the king's gold. I'd take a ducking. That's way preferable to being hung. I said to the wife, "Why don't they hang these witches?" And she said, "Because it's all a load of nonsense, and the ducking is just public entertainment with a cursory nod to justice." Well, I'm not so sure. There was a herdsman who never turned up to work one morning, and everyone said there was a frog sitting on the fence where he usually leaned to have his breakfast. So I'd say that was clear evidence of witchcraft. I know the man turned up the following week saying he'd been to visit his mother, but that could easily be weasel words on account of being bewitched. I'll tell you who else they ought to hang instead of failed thieves like me. Hypothecaries. Running around putting leeches on people, drilling holes in them, pulling teeth. It's torture, that's what it is. It's done by people who can't get a job in the town dungeons and like inflicting pain. There's no malady that can't be cured by a foul-smelling mix of herbs and animal parts spread on the affected part of the body. My grandmother taught me that. Of course, they said she was a witch. She had to leave in the dead of night years ago, but she wasn't. You can always tell a witch by the boils on their faces or by their eyes. If they don't have boils, they have witch eyes, and my grandmother had neither. Anyway, we're getting off the point here. What's important is my belief that hypothecaries should be hanged. I wonder if the wife will miss me. And the kids? Probably not the kids. They've told me often enough that my pathetic life of crime is an embarrassment to them, so I imagine they won't be too bothered if I swing. It won't be long now before the morning guards turn up. Wait. What's that sound? It can't be. Let me look. Oh my. Good Lord. The tide is turning. The drain is draining. I can get out. I'm going to live. I'm going to smell like death crawling through that space again, but I'd rather smell high than be hung high. You take a gold bar. One. Now, Eustace, this is your chance to get it right. No gold bars, but a few gold coins. They won't even miss a few gold coins. Just a few.
That was King's Gold featuring Phil Domaille, with thanks to freesfx.co.uk for sound and music.